You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh, how
You know what time it is. Raw with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. And it's Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. And if we don't play, all wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, and boom, baby. Buckeyes land the number one player and the number one defensive end in the 2027 class. Complete surprise to me, complete surprise to a lot of people across the nation. Before we get these doom and gloomers talking about, hey, we just got to hold on to him. I see people in the chat talking about his family looking upset and all that. I understand. A long way to go, but would you have rather him commit to Miami and us try to flip him? How often do you see the Buckeyes flip top recruits like this? Not very often. I would venture to say that the Buckeyes hold on to recruits like this more often than they flip recruits like this. So that's my opinion. Just wanted to get that out of the way real fast. It says a lot about a player that at his stature that commits this early. I'll say that. And also, yes, little warning note below all this, super early, today's day and age with new. It's going to be real hard to hold on to him. I agree. But listen, as of now, dude's a Buckeye, 6'5.5", 225-pound defensive end from Roswell, Georgia. Plays for Trinity Catholic, something like that. Excuse me, Blessed Trinity Catholic. Dude is an absolute dog. I'm going to put on this his highlight tape real fast. I mean, I had a couple people text me today and be like, hey, man, this player's, committing tonight at 8:30. The Buckeyes stand a chance. And my response was, no, they don't. I knew the Buckeyes. I knew he'd visited the Buckeyes for the Rutgers game. Buckeyes been in contact there, but not a lot of people up until obviously today got confidence about him. Obviously, coming in the 11th hour, the Buckeyes did something to really sway things their way. It's either that or he's been trolling people this whole time. I think the Buckeyes did something here, man. The Buckeyes turned the tables. But as we know, this is the number one area, the Buckeyes need players. And we've already told you how many times on this channel there's a philosophy change going on inside the Woody. Once they got through understanding how Nill's going to be kind of policed this year with the new rules coming out and all that, they got a good grasp on that. Now it's time for the Buckeyes to play ball when they need to play ball, and they're doing that now, man. Not saying they were the highest bidder here. I don't have any details on that yet. I would venture to guess they're not. But still, man, dude committed to the Buckeyes. That says a lot. Congratulations, Larry Johnson. I don't know how many times Larry Johnson's got to put people to sleep by doing nothing. He ain't even throwing punches, and he's putting people to sleep, man. I mean, Kari Wilder in this 26 class put people to sleep in itself. So big time get up here. I love it. As you can see, dude has all the physical traits. In his sophomore season, this dude had 112 tackles, 35 tackles for a loss, in 12 sacks. In his junior season, he had 102 tackles, 24 tackles for loss, 16 sacks, 2 forced fumbles in 11 games. Okay, so as you can see from the film, right now, the dude is just physically dominating the high school, competition. But you can see the athleticism. You can see the tools, right? Larry Johnson gets a hold of somebody like this. he can turn Caden Curry into a monster. Watch out, somebody like this, man. So it goes to show you, right? A lot of people were upset, all right, coming off a national title. They felt like our 26 class could have been better. I disagree. I think it is a top-notch class. Top-notch class the Buckeyes signed. For those of us that pay attention to where we rank nationally, is a top 5 class in the nation. For 2027, super early. That's 9 commits, but we got David Jacobs, the number 1 defensive end in the country, the number 1 player in the country, according to 247 in the class. We have Jameer Brown, the number 11 player nationally, the number 2 wide receiver, according to 247. And we've got Eli Johnson, who I think is going to rise up these recruiting rankings, and he will be a 5-star player in this class. That's kind of my little prediction. Friend of the show, 81 player nationally, the number 8 safety in the class, 6'3", 186. Brady Edmonds, we know all about him. Quentin Cypher, the Buckeyes, James Laurinaitis' number 1 linebacker. They were going after Kellen Weimer, Brody McNeil, Mason Will, and Angelo Smith to top it off. So this 27 class is booming. It's booming. And yes, I want you guys to do something. Snap a picture of where he's rated right now in all the recruiting services so we can have that as evidence when we ever want to complain about these recruiting services. But, right, I had to get on, had to do that. Didn't plan on going, got an early flight, going to the game. It was a long day today. I told you guys Sports Talk Jay was going to join me on Monday. We were going to talk about his thoughts on this Miami game. I didn't want to do a show. I was tired. And then I saw that we got the number 1 defensive end in our class. I know it's early, yada, 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 all that stuff. And it gave me the energy to come on here. So I got to give a shout out, man. Sports Talk Jay. I texted him. Was like, hey, man, I changed my mind. If you want to join, you can. No big deal if you can't. But he's a baller, man. He's joined us tonight to dive into this Miami game. Sport Jay. Here I go with that, calling you Sports Talk Jay again. Dude, you got to help me just shut that down. Just Jay. It's Jay. Jay, how you doing, man?
Hey, man, I'm rocking and rolling and whatnot. You got me late tonight. I might be a couple of beers in, so this could be late night with STJ. I might just have to tell you what I really think about all this.
That's why I waited. I knew what was going on. I'm like, I got to wait, right? If I get him on at 8:10, he's only going to be 1 beer in. He's not. He's,
I wouldn't
he's
even
going to hold stuff.
I was going to be totally sober for that show.
Wow.
Beers, so now I just got to tell you what I really think is going to happen, and I already know.
Well, I love it, man, because, dude, Ohio State, Miami on Wednesday, and to me, right, I just want to tell you the Buckeye perspective, right? From the Buckeye perspective, the seat I sit in, after this Texas A&M game, all I've heard about is this Miami defense and how dominant they are. Their defensive line, this defense, super scary, and everybody kept bringing up the Texas A&M game. And to me, I really didn't hear that all year. I've never heard all these national media guys claim Miami's defensive line was the best in the country and talk about it. And I get it. It's playoff time. We got to talk these games up and whatnot. But that's the first thing I wanted to ask you about. From where you're at, tell me about, do you agree with everything we're hearing? And listen, I understand their defensive line is elite. It is good. Bain, good player. Don't think he's as good as what everybody's making him out to be. But that's not glasses, because he's one of the best defensive ends in the nation, I believe. So, but just, man, what's your take? Not being a Buckeye fan, not being a Miami fan, give me your take on that specific, their defensive line.
Yeah, they got that one guy that's just a beast. You're going to have to deal with him. He will cause problems, but I'm just not that impressed with Miami. I know a lot of people are because they beat Texas A&M, but I said going into that, I said, you're either going to get Marcel Reed, who's going to play really well, or you're going to get a dud, because he plays one or the other. He was a dud. I like Carson Beck as a quarterback, but I don't think he's going to be able to. Ohio State's going to bum rush him a bunch. And I think the best thing that happened to you guys, and I could be wrong, but I thought this the whole way, was losing that game to Indiana was the best thing for the coaches, because now they're going to listen. Your guys have been reading press clippings. you're the repeat national title. Oh, you're this, you're that, and y'all have had some good wins. And you've also beat the crap out of some teams that you were favored by 35, and they're gonna believe that stuff. Those young guys are gonna believe how wonderful they are with all that rat poison that the press clippings are gonna have. Maybe losing that game, the coaches and I don't know. I just think they're gonna listen to the coaching now, and you might see maybe not as good as it was last year when y'all went on that run, but it might be an eye opener for you. Of, hey, because that scored 10 points against Indiana's fine. They're good. But y'all are better than 10 points, for gosh sake. So I think you're going to win this game comfortably. Carson Beck, I'm not completely sold on him in big pressure moments, which this totally is. He's going against the best defense he's seen all year. I think you'll probably shut him down pretty good. He'll make a mistake or two, throw an INT, and then that's when you're off to the races. You're going to have trouble with Miami's defensive line. They'll put some pressure on your guy, but I think y'all are going to be okay in this game. I really do.
Yeah, I like that you brought that Indiana game up again because I completely agree with you. I think it was a blessing. When you look at last year, right, we can all agree that Michigan loss was a way bigger eye opener. A lot more things happened there. There were a lot more talk afterwards, losing this Big Ten. We beat Michigan. We lose the Big Ten title game. But still, like you said, it's an eye-opener. A couple things happened to this Buckeyes team that in the moment it hurt and it stung, but I think ultimately ended up being a blessing. And that's kind of a pretty good life lesson there, at least in my experience. But anyway, we also lost Brian Hartline. We're not really lost him, but he took a head coaching job before we played Miami. So everybody was up in arms. Hey, is he going to be able to juggle both, be the offensive coordinator? We watched the offense only score 10 points in the Indiana game. Indiana did phenomenal, but it just looked like Ohio State was off their game a little bit. So they lose that game. Not only get their eyes open there, but now also Ryan Day has taken over the play calling, right? Brian Hartline is now switched to just the wide receivers coach. Ryan Day will be the one calling the plays. And I said this the other day on the chat. Brian Hartline being a first-time offensive coordinator, right? And people are going to take this so negative, but it's just the truth. It's just my opinion. I believe as an offensive coordinator, as play calling on game day, he hindered this offense just a little bit with his inexperience to utilize the talent that we had. So I don't know if you've heard that or what's your thoughts? What's your perspective on Ryan Day being the one calling plays? What do you think about Ryan Day as a play caller?
I would just go back to what they did last year after that loss to Michigan. I'd say I would run that you've got this just about the same players. You don't have a running quarterback in Julian. He is more of an accurate quarterback. So you don't have that little added dimension. But you've got the same damn wide receivers that nobody can stop. And I would try to get the ball in their hands as often as possible. And I would put as much pressure on that secondary as human. I would really try to put pressure on them. I would throw some short passes to JJ, and then I would try to hit them deep, try to pull them up and get them up playing the run, playing the quick pass, and then just burn the crowd. Because Julian will hit them. He's very accurate and got great touch. That's the one really positive part of his game is that the guy's got touch. So that's where I would go with. I don't think they're going to score a lot of points on you. I just don't see Carson Beck having a big game against Ohio State's defense. I just don't. He's never really overachieved against a great defense. I haven't seen him do that. He's got all the great markers you want in a quarterback. He's got the big arm and all that, but I don't know that he's as tough a competitor or as good under pressure as what he's going to need to be against this defense.
Yeah, statistically, when you look at Carson Beck, I brought this up several times, he's the number 2 quarterback in the nation for completion percentage. But when you dive deeper into that, you see 2 things here. He's number 1 in getting the ball out in like 2.1 seconds, something super fast. He's getting the ball out super fast. And he's also, I think, number 1 in like the lowest depth of average target, right? I know I said that all backwards, but he averages like 4.4 yards per attempt, right? And that goes to show you their game plan there. A lot of these games, Carson Beck, when you were talking about Reed, kind of reminded me of Carson Beck. Sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't. But for the most part, if you put the game on him where he's got to throw the ball down the field, in other games this year, he has not been able to do that. And when you look at this Texas A&M game, he only threw for 103 passing yards. What won him the game? Running up the middle. Mark Fletcher just straight up running up the middle every single time at a 57-yard run, kind of wore that Texas A&M defense down, which I was not as high on in the first place. I actually wanted to play them over Miami. But, I think what you're talking about here is one of the goals I had for Ohio State is to make Miami one-dimensional. Stop the run. We have the number one rush defense in the nation with 4 All-Americans right in the center. Our linebackers, Caden McDonald, Caden Curry on the side there. So we're set up pretty good there. It's us Buckeye fans, it's the offensive side of the ball and how many points we're going to be able to score, that if there's an area that might give us a little nerves, rightfully so, coming off that Indiana game, right? If we have to find an area we're nervous about, it is that. But with Ryan Day taking over play calling and what we saw last year in the playoffs, right? Does that sound on par? Do you hear any scarlet glass takes in there?
My only concern is that the only thing you don't have from last year is you don't have the ability to run at the quarterback position. And that is something that no defense can really deal with. I have not met a defense that can truly deal with a running quarterback. They're just such a pain in the butt. You never know when they're just going to put a Diego Pavia on you and you think you've got everything covered and he does some little circle turnaround and it's a first down, or he buys an extra second or two and the receiver gets open. That's the only thing you guys don't have. You've got everything else. You got the defense, you got the wide receivers, you got the accurate quarterback. That's it. That's the only chink in the armor. It's not a very big one. It might show up against a great defense. That would be the only concern. That's the only thing I see Ohio State has a weakness, and it's not a big one, but it's a weakness. That'd be it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that, that you're saying that, because, for the most part, I would say I agree with these running quarterbacks and whatnot, but we went up to Washington, right? One of the most, dynamic as far as rushing quarterbacks in the nation. Desmond Williams, I think, is the quarterback for Washington. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not, but shut him down pretty good with Caleb Downs and our linebackers. But I like our defense.
Y'all will shut Carson down. I'm just saying that you don't have that ability to run that just usurps everything. That would be it. That's the only thing. And here's the thing. I love Julian Sands, the guy to have long term, because he's not going to get hurt. He's quick. He's actually quick. He could run if he wanted to on some level. But why running when you're winning every game?
Dude, I don't know. Well, I was off in La La Land. So you were saying Julian Sand isn't a mobile quarterback.
Well, he's not as dangerous as what you had last
100%. 100%. My bad. I was in La La Land, man.
I knew you were.
I thought you were talking about.
I normally don't interrupt, but I knew you were going down the wrong path.
I thought you were talking about Carson Beck using his legs against us, and I was like, I knew I missed something there. But yeah, I mean, Julian's saying that's been one of our flaws down in the red zone. Not having a mobile quarterback really hinders us, especially when we do 13, 14 personnel and try to play in a phone booth down there when we got 2 top 10 wide receivers. But, we'll see what we're hearing out of there. We'll see if it comes true or not. Ryan Day's taking over play calling. The 13, 14 personnel is done. I mean, in the Big Ten title game, Jay, 60% of the time, either JJ or Carnell were off the field in the red zone. We were running 13 or 14 personnel 60% of the time in the red zone. That's too much, right? And we don't have a lot of different variations off of that. Everybody knows what we're going to do. And we never once, threw it to one-on-one coverage with JJ down there either. Different. But yeah, it's interesting to get people's takes on this because the national media is just pushing Miami defensive line, their defensive ends. They're looking at the Indiana game and looking that Julian Sain got sacked 5 times and saying, hey, Miami has better pass rush than that, but there's several ways to get around the pass rush schematically, doing different things, especially when the Buckeyes have had 3 weeks to prepare for this. So, man, you got any final thoughts on this game? You got a score prediction for us, baby?
Yeah,
there?
It feels like 24-13 or something like that to me. I think you're going to win fairly comfortably by about 10 points, if I had to guess.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at. I would put it at about a 10-point spread, just because I'm not a huge believer in Miami, and I think your team's going to show up with their hair on fire after that loss to Indiana. So we'll see. I don't expect you to do what you did last year, but I do expect you to have a nice little run here and kind of put Miami in their place and then go from there. And then I think we're going to have the national championship game against Georgia, even though it won't be the national championship game. That's where I think we're headed. And of course, my team tomorrow, we're playing the opt-out. But I'm waiting for Josh Heupel to opt out. That's all I'm waiting for. Hell,
really?
I've got every damn starter opting out. I got 6 starters opting out.
Now I didn't click on your shows you put up lately. I saw there about Tennessee. I've been doing a bunch of other things, but you put in there that like big time decisions coming up for them. Is that what you're talking about? The decision whether they're playing your bowl game or not?
No, it's more about quarterback. We got a whole quarterback dilemma. It's a whole freaking thing. We got Joey trying to get an extra year because he's only played 3 years of Division I. The judge who gave the injunction to Diego Pavia, who has the identical college career path that Joey has, a year ago, he'd have played 3 Division I years, so he went ahead and gave him the 4th. Joey's the same spot, but if he doesn't make it by January 2nd, we're going to move on. We're moving on. We got to have a quarterback for next year. That's just the way it is. And we've got a freshman and a redshirt freshman. They aren't ready to go. You know that situation, so you got to make a decision.
Dang, dude, that is a tough decision, man. But yeah, because if you go in the portal after a quarterback, you guys got to go for a starting quarterback. It's not like, hey, let's go pick up a backup quarterback while we wait on his decision. No, you guys got to go invest quite a bit to get a starting. Yeah, dude, that is a dilemma.
Well, it's a career making decision. I mean, who your quarterback is, starting quarterback, it can make a big difference from either being fine or being on the hot seat if you don't pick right or the guy gets hurt. I'm telling you, and we're going to the 9-game SEC games next year. Next year is going to be hot seat central in the SEC. It's going to get rough, and it's going to get ugly as crap. But we do have a game tomorrow against Illinois, and like I said, I cannot believe the number of opt-outs we have. So it's going to be an interesting game. It's in Nashville, Tennessee, though, so it's really a home game for us. So that'll probably offset a lot of it, but it should be I'll bet it'll be a very entertaining game. It'll probably be tight.
Yeah. Guys, don't forget, hit that like button, that subscribe button. I forgot to say that. But, Jay, I got actually 2 questions for you. One of them is Miami, Ohio State related. The other one, I got to write this down so I remember it. Let me ask you the Miami one first. Give me your take on Miami fans, right? I have 2 different categories of Miami fans. I have the bandwagon Miami fans that I find extremely annoying, and I think those are the ones that are coming. And listen, I know Ohio State fans are annoying too. I know we have some of them as well. I know I can be that fan too on certain days. But what's your take on Miami fans, man?
Well, first of all, why do they not fill up their stadium? I don't understand. They'll be playing an undefeated team. They'll be like 5-0. The team they're playing is 4-1 or 5-0, and there'll be 30,000 people in their stands. So I don't even know if they have a lot of fans. Maybe the ones that they have are very boisterous, but I'm not impressed by that at all. I know they're giving JJ some grief because isn't he from that area?
Yep, he is.
Yeah, so they're giving the traitor thing and all that. That's just trying to get his head. Look, if they wanted to keep him, they should have come up with this. Yeah, and at the time, it was probably when they weren't that good. So now they've got some good. They've got good fans. They got crap fans, just like the rest of us. Just not as many.
Yeah, dude. The Cotton Bowl is not going to sell out, dude. That's what I'm being told. Not going to sell out. That you can get in the door. What is it now, guys? I saw a ticket on there earlier for $70. right? Get in the door. Last
That's
year,
just wrong. That's just wrong. That tells. I promise you this: there'll be a lot of Ohio State fans there. Miami fans, there's just for whatever reason, there's a million people that live down there, but they don't follow the Miami Hurricanes. They just don't do it. I don't get it. They got a really good team. They should be fun. It should be exciting. What they've got are a couple of really big donors that will spend the money for these really big players, but they don't have the fan support.
Yeah. Listen to this, man. I live in Florida. Now, granted, I live in Tallahassee, Florida, but I'm all over Florida all the time. In the Keys, Fort Lauderdale, Tampa. I'm all over. I've been here for a long time now. And when I tell you this, I'm being serious. Even in Florida, there's not that many Miami fans. I have met and seen more Ohio State fans in Florida and in the Keys, which is an hour away from Miami, than I have Miami fans. It's Florida and it's FSU here, right? When you talk to people, there are some, but it is, man, it's baffling. And I just wonder what the playoff committee's thinking about that when we know this is a money-fueled system, but let's wonder what's going to happen when they compare last year's Cotton Bowl that consisted of Texas and Ohio State and this one where tickets are $80 a piece and cheaper, and they're not even going to sell them all.
Yeah, like NIL has kind of skewed things because, like I said, you can have one or two or three guys that donate, and then all of a sudden you got a team that's great who doesn't even have a fan support situation. You know, Ohio State's it reminds me a lot of Tennessee, a huge fan base that's very rabid. Ohio State's, I mean, Miami's got a much smaller fan base, and they're not that rabid. They're really not. I mean, there's maybe a quarter of what Ohio State and Tennessee has when it comes to just that rabid fan base. So I'm not a bit surprised. That place should be overflowing with people wanting tickets. It's embarrassing on some level, but I know why that is. I promise you Ohio State will have a lot of people there.
Yeah, for sure. Here's a Miami fan. Gio Kane, first off, appreciate you watching. Just telling you my opinion. I'm not lying. Maybe it's because I'm an Ohio State fan and I look for them more and I see them more. But for instance, in the Keys, I went in 2 restaurants. I saw Ohio State signs everywhere. I didn't see one Miami sign. Same in Tampa. So I don't know, man. It's probably because I'm looking for Ohio State fans everywhere, but that's still the case.
Well,
Jay,
you
final
may be wearing
thing.
a lot of Ohio State stuff too.
Yeah. So I get there's a lot, but way more Florida and Florida State fans here than Miami. How about that? We'll stick with that, right?
Well,
we'll just go with that one then.
Why can't they explain why only 30,000 people show up for their games when they're undefeated? I watched them play Duke last year. They were 8-0, and I think Duke was 7-1. There was 30,000 people in that stadium, and this year it was the same crap. Why is that? If Miami's got this huge fan base, where the hell are they? Why will they not show up and support their team? I don't get it.
Have you ever been to Miami?
Support them.
Have you ever been to Miami?
I've been there. It was many, many, many years. I have been one time, and I've got a really good story for this. This was 1985. I was a sophomore or a freshman at UT. I was on the golf team. So we go down and we play at Doral, the Blue Monster, hardest course I ever played. And we're at this huge area eating afterwards. And we hear this commotion. I mean, the damnedest commotion I've ever heard. And we're in this big hall and we're all eating dinner. And all of a sudden, here comes freaking Don Johnson in 1985 wearing the white jacket, the T-shirt. I mean, the no socks, the whole deal. He had been shooting Miami Vice, which was in 1985. You're not old enough to know this. The biggest show in the world. People didn't go out on Friday night because of freaking Miami Vice. He comes waltzing in there, and he gets in front of everybody with the microphone. He said, "I'd give anything to be you guys." He was a huge golf fan. That's why he was in the movie Tin Cup and all that. And he said, "I have to go out and shoot at night and do all this, and y'all are going to get up and go and play golf in the morning." He said, "You've got it made." And everybody was like, we'll trade places, all of us.
Yeah.
So that's the one time I was in Miami in my entire life. But it was an awesome place.
You know, you got a couple things. Miami is somebody or Miami fan in the chat point out. Definitely a way smaller school, right? We understand that. But also your story you just said, I went on a vacation in Miami for 10 days where I was like, all right, I'm going to go do this. Let's go find the coolest spot in Miami, get the nicest hotel, hang out there with the girlfriend at the time for 10 days. And I got to experience why I don't think many people show up to their games because they're doing a lot of other things on Friday and Saturday night in Miami. There is, I mean, a lot going on there, and football is not at the top of their list. So if you show up there now,
international city, isn't it?
Huh?
It's an international city, isn't it?
Oh yeah, dude. Yes, yes, big time. And they got a lot going on, and you know, they're all entrenched in different things, and it's not the football aspect of theirs. So, right,
Yeah,
I think
sense.
that's what it is. Yeah. Final thing, Jay, I'll get you off here, man. Last show, I haven't looked this up yet, I haven't anything, but somebody gave us a super chat that Alabama is trying to get out of or will get out of the Ohio State series. It's not starting next year, but the year after. We got Texas next year at Texas. And then after that, I believe it's Alabama, I think, or maybe Georgia. But either way, they're doing away with that, man. Have you heard of other SEC teams
Yeah, I
doing
think
similar things?
Yeah, Texas is going to try to get out of some stuff. The SEC clubs are going to try to get out of everything now. They got to play 9 SEC games. Plus, they've got to play another Power 4, and they're not going to want to play Ohio State or Oregon or the very top teams. They're not going to want that as their 10th game because they know they're going to get knocked out of the playoff because of that. And they don't have, you know, it's just different down here, man. It's just different. It's too much of a knock you in the mouth. And every game you get hurt. You get hurt so bad in every game. They're just the injuries pile up so badly in the SEC because it's just the guys are too fat. It's like playing a bunch of Ohio State juniors down here that maybe not beat Ohio State's level, but they're Ohio State juniors. You know, they've all got talent. They're all a bunch of Michigan. You know what it is? It's like playing Michigan 6 or 7 times a year. Yeah, they may not be better than you, but they can hurt you.
Yeah.
And they do.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So
that makes sense,
anyway,
man. Well,
you're going to see a lot of SEC teams come out, and there's going to be a lot of folks giving them shit about it.
Yeah. My other take to that was, dude, it's about to go to 16 teams anyway, at least. So a team like Alabama can lose 3 games, and they're going to be in it. You know what I mean? But at least that's my take. But I totally get why teams would opt out. As a fan, I don't want to see that. But as a institution, totally makes sense, especially with what's going on in these playoff things this year. But Jay, I appreciate you joining me a little bit later tonight, man. Appreciate your insight. I need you to do something, dude. When you're watching the Ohio State Miami game, if you see me on TV, because I'm going to be close to the field, you got to give like a screenshot or something. You know, I need you to do that.
If I see, I definitely will, dude. I've always got my phone ready. No problem. But I like your chance. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I think the only game that'll get your attention this year will probably be Georgia. I think that could be a game that could be very difficult. And I look for that to be a epic. I think that will be an epic game. That'll be one that you'll remember for a long time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I remember doing that show with you in Nevada. That's what we talked about. We think that should be the national title game. It's a shame it's not. You're going to knock one of those guys off, and you're either going to see Oregon or Indiana in that final game against either Ohio State or Georgia. Jay, I appreciate you guys. Go check out Sports Talk Jay on his channel, putting up great content all the time. You guys will see him again, especially if when we win this game, we'll get you on here and talk to you. Dive into this Georgia-Ohio State game we all hope to see.
Thanks for having me on. Y'all have a good one.
All right, Jay. Take care.
See you, man.
It's awesome, man. That's one of the really cool parts about doing a YouTube show is meeting people like Jay through this. It's been awesome getting to know him, awesome to talk to him. And like him just coming on like that, we were scheduled for 8:10. I said no, changed my mind, texted him, had no issue coming on. So guys, go show him some love, show him support. He's just an awesome an awesome person altogether with a great YouTube channel as well. Very entertaining. Yeah, guys, number one player, number one defensive end, David Jacobs, Larry Johnson, Ryan Day, Mark Pantoni landed him for the Buckeyes. We have the number one class in the 2027 right now. Long way to go. I understand. But again, I encourage you, if you follow Ohio State recruiting, you know darn well we have way better success holding on to Jeremiah Smith's, Chris Henry Jr.'s than we do flipping them. Okay? So always think about that. When people always bring that up, remember that. When's the last time you've seen Ohio State flip a top 10 recruit on signing day or towards the end of it? Reverse that. When's the last time you've seen Ohio State hold on to a top 10 recruit? You're going to have way more instances of holding on to those top recruits that people try to go after. Ohio State is very good at doing that, especially now. They've upped the intensity. I will be leaving at like 6 a.m., catching my flight. I will be in Texas around 1 or so. Might hop on live when I get there. Might drive down to the stadium, walk around, hop on live, chat it up with you guys. But definitely the day of the game, I know parents tailgate. I haven't decided what I'm going to do because I'm going to the Texas Live thing where Shaq is DJing. Might be pretty loud in there, but I'm going to go in that. If I find a good spot and a good vibe to maybe do a live show, I'll do one there, maybe shut that down, and then I'll go out and walk around, see what tailgating's going on. If there's a good vibe there, I will go live again, but I'll be going into the stadium super early. So I do promise you that when I get into the stadium, I will go live as long as I can, but be warned that the show might just randomly shut off because that's what happens when you go in there. Check out this chat for a second, man. Scoochie, what's good? Thanks for the $1.99. Bro, committing to Ohio State. He won't be number one very long. Yeah, I know. Screenshot where he's ranked right now, guys. I thought that was funny. Steely, thanks for the $1.99, brother. Yeah, thank you. My bad, Steely. I should have read this when he was on. Thanks, Jay, for coming on. But yeah, gonna be a good time. I'm absolutely stoked to go there. I will be flying. Yeah, so I'm not driving. Stars, I've seen you ask that in there. What up, Mike Green? Let's see. Wouldn't it be something if Ohio State faces previous losses to Georgia and Indiana? Yeah, Jennifer, it would be pretty cool, right? They might be in our path for sure. So take care of Georgia, and then if Indiana takes care of business, that'd be pretty epic. I think it would be. Let's see. Yeah, I know he does. I talked to him a few times. And when I went up and tried to talk to him last time, he wasn't very friendly. Buckeye Cowboy, if you're watching, you weren't very friendly to me last time I talked to you. He was like, yeah, I'm just here to watch the game. Okay. Okie dokie. Aren't we all? Let's see. Yeah, dude, this stadium's going to be absolutely flooded with Ohio State fans. It's going to be 10% Miami fans, guys. I mean, it just is. I'll be lucky to find a Miami tailgating party. It's going to be hard for me to find Miami fans to interview. Will Texas try to get out of our game next year? It might be too late. But I don't know. I'm sure they'll try if they can. But yeah, Steely, they have internet blockers in there too. So like they turn those on. Every stadium's different. Sometimes I've been able to stream an hour before the game. And then sometimes 6 hours before the game, can't even get close to the stadium because your service just goes away. Remember last time I was going live at the Washington game, my phone shut off and I couldn't even shut the stream down. I literally had to call Mello and ask him if he could log on and shut the stream down. So if that happens, guys, the stream might just go live till the show's over and I get service again. So it might be a 6-hour show, just a blank screen. But if you watch, don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what I mean? Yeah, Steely, I know you would. I think I texted Steely too. Like, hey, man, tell everyone I can't even shut the stream down. It's wild. Yeah, literally, it's $90 to get into Texas Live. It's more expensive to get in the Texas Live place than it is to get into the game. Oh, that should tell you how that is. All right, y'all. Hey, I appreciate you. Blessed day. I went golfing this morning. Won me some money. Hey, you might see Devin on the PGA Tour for you too long. That's a lie. You won't. But leaving for the game in the morning. Just blessed, guys. Blessed to be a Buckeye fan. Blessed by the best. Blessed that I got you guys in the chat all the time showing up. 590 of you watching live right now. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button on both channels. I know it's not convenient, but over at the Buckeye Boys channel, Buckeye Boys with a Z, go shoot me a sub, shoot me a like if you could. That would be great. And also on the Buckeye Scoop channel, if you are listening on Apple Podcasts, hit that like, subscribe button. Join the Buckeye message board if you haven't already. And one more announcement. We are now expanding on Buckeye Scoop. We are expanding to Spreaker. Right? So go download the Spreaker app, search Buckeye Scoop and hit follow. All right. For those of you guys that have been following a Buckeye Scoop for some time, I'm not going to lie, I should have done some research about Spreaker so I could tell you guys about it first. Steely probably knows more than I do. I don't know much about it, but download that thing. Maybe it's a new hot upcoming thing. Might have to get the Buckeye Boys channel on there as well, but I'll look into it. But download that thing, hit the follow button for us. But on that note, guys, dude, just sit back, enjoy this ride. We playing with house money now, right? Nobody expected us to be contending for a national title, and we're going to. So everybody just landed the number one recruit in the entire nation out of Georgia, a defensive end. Enjoy that while we have it. And enjoy this Miami game on Wednesday, guys. Appreciate y'all for joining. Love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OHIO.